Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to create another card using some new items over at Simon Says Stamp Shop. This is part of their Peace on Earth release, and we're going to be playing with the Hello Sweater Weather wafer thin die along with a background stamp called Holiday Stems and Berries. I think these two are going to go really good together. Now with winter season around the corner, I'm going to keep it bright and cheery today with my favorite color combinations. So we're going to start off by doing some heat embossing. So I have some white cardstock here. I'm putting it in my stamping positioner, and I'm making sure that about an inch of that cardstock is above the stamp line. Then I'll treat my paper with my anti-static powder tool real good, and then we're going to go over my background stamp with VersaFine, actually I take that back, with Versamark ink, which I need a new ink pad. I dirtied mine up and mine's pretty dry, but I'm going to go over it a few times, and then we'll take this out and I'm going to add some Simon Says Stamp Fine Detail Clear Embossing Powder over my image. This way my background will stay white when we do a little bit of ink blending over the top. I went ahead and melted it. I skipped that part because you couldn't see it anyway. But it's melted here, and now we're going to do our ink blending. I'm going to use my favorite color combination. I love pinks and yellows together. I think it's not only a summer color but an all year round color combination, and I love the coral color that it creates when you blend both of these together. So this is picked raspberry. I'm going to ink blend the very bottom of my card here, and I did mask off using some post-it note tape the bottom, that inch area where we didn't heat emboss. I just didn't want to get ink on that section, and then I went over the top of it with my mustard seed ink. I blended them both together, and you can see that corally color between them both, and then I'm going to buff away the ink with a towel, clean up a little bit of the work surface. And I just think this background stamp is so pretty. I think that you can get away with, this says the Holiday Stems and Berries, but I think you could get away with any kind of season with this background stamp. It's very pretty, guys. Okay, I removed my post-it note tape. In that area we're actually going to put some twine. Before we do that though, I'm going to die cut out a rectangle in this panel, so it's going to be slightly smaller than my card base. We're going to create a landscape style card. I'm going to set this aside, and we are going to go ahead and grab some white cardstock. We're going to do a little bit of ink blending with the same colors for my sentiment. We're going to use the Hello Sweater Weather, and so I need a big enough area on this panel that will cover it. So ink blending, again, the picked raspberry and then the mustard seed. I blended them together, and we have a slight orange in the middle, but I'm going to intensify it a little bit with abandoned coral, so you can really see the three colors here. I'll die cut that out, and then I'll use the outline and die cut the outline with white cardstock. I'm going to just layer both of these together, and I used my tape runner. What I did was I added adhesive with my tape runner behind my Hello Sweater Weather die cut, and then I punched it out with my hands. That way I didn't have to fuss with the detailed areas. It worked out good. It was kind of a little bit tricky getting it out of the negative piece, but I got it done. Now I wrapped some orange and white baker's twine around that white 1-inch area on the left there, and I'm going to go ahead and embellish that. I thought some bells would be really pretty with it, so I took 3 of them, and I don't think the Simon Says Stamp Shop has these, but I took 3 of them and loop them together with some twine. I tried to loop them together with my baker's twine, but the baker's twine was too flimsy, it wouldn't go through. So this is just white twine, and then I'll take that twine and tie a knot in between the bow that I created with the baker's twine, and then we'll tie another bow with the twine. So we have a double bow here. Kind of liked it. Kind of reminded me of a sweater with all those extra little tails hanging out. So we have a little bit of detail. Now this is going to make your card a little bulky to mail, of course, but I think even a button would be really cute here, guys, if you wanted something a little bit more flatter. But I'm going to flip over my panel, add some foam adhesive behind it. This is going to go on my A2 size card base. Just making sure it's centered, and you can see I have some white border. And then we'll add some foam adhesive behind our sentiment. We'll go ahead and tape this down. I didn't add any extra layers to my Hello Sweater. Sweater weather sentiment. I think it's going to be really nice the way this is. We'll pop this up, put this on our card base, and originally I was going to tuck it underneath where the bells were, but I think we're just going to center it on our ink blended background. Now I was going to say I wasn't going to add any extra bells or whistles, but I did add extra bells, so but I'm going to leave it like this. I think I like the simplicity of it. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.